Christmas Eve, mid-1945, Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder tucked their 10 children into bed. The house was warm, the tree was lit, and snow drifted gently outside. But by morning, 5 of their children were gone. Not dead. Gone. Sometime after midnight, Jenny Sodder was woken by a strange phone call. A woman's voice asked for someone who didn't live there, and laughed oddly before hanging up. Moments later, she noticed something else. Lights were on, doors unlocked, and the smell of smoke was in the air. The Sodder home was on fire. George and Jenny escaped with 4 of their children, but 5 others, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped upstairs. George tried to rescue them. He smashed a window, climbed barefoot into the flames, tried to move his ladder, but it was missing. Tried to start his truck. It wouldn't turn over. The fire department didn't arrive until 8 hours later. The house burned to the ground in just 45 minutes. But when the ashes cooled, there were no bones, no remains, no trace of the 5 children who had slept in the attic that night. The coroner declared them dead, but their parents didn't believe it. In the weeks that followed, the mystery deepened. Clue 1: no bones found. Experts said bones should have survived that level of fire. Even chicken bones in the basement did. Clue 2: the missing ladder. It was found, tossed into a ditch 75 feet away. Clue 3: witnesses saw the children alive. One woman claimed she saw them peering out of a passing car during the fire. Another days later said she saw them with unfamiliar adults at a roadside diner. Jenny wrote to the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover responded, but said it was a local matter. What happened to the Sodder children? And why does this case still haunt people nearly 80 years later? 1. Accidental death, the official story. Authorities insisted the children perished in the fire, that the remains were simply destroyed. But the Sodders had a cremation expert write back, bones don't just vanish. Not in 45 minutes, not in a house fire. 2. Kidnapping and cover-up. George Sodder was an outspoken critic of Italian dictator Mussolini. Some believed his anti-fascist views made him enemies, possibly even the Mafia. In the months before the fire, strange men came to the house. One warned George that his children would pay for his opinions. Was the fire a cover for an abduction? Was someone silencing George by taking his children? 3. A family secret? Others wonder, could it have been something closer to home? Could one of the parents have hidden the truth? Or was someone in the community helping hide the children? No clear motive, no evidence, but the strange sightings, the missing ladder, the untouched remains. They all fuel the doubts. George and Jenny refused to give up. They printed over 50,000 flyers across the country, and on Route 16, they erected a billboard with the children's faces, a haunting plea for answers. The billboard stood for over 40 years. They hired private investigators. They followed every lead, no matter how faint. In 1968, they received a letter. Inside was a photo of a young man, around 30, with one chilling sentence. Louis Sodder, I love Brother Frankie, Elil Boys, A90132. The man in the photo resembled their missing son Louis, but they never found him. Endless grief, no closure. George died in 1969. Jenny wore black for the rest of her life. She died in 1989, never knowing what happened to her children. No bodies, no answers. Just one of the most heartbreaking and baffling unsolved cases in American history. They vanished in the night, not just from their home, but from the world. And somewhere between the truth and the smoke, 5 little lives still wait to be found.